And you're very welcome to Tuesday's Morning Focus. I'm Alan Morrissey, back in the hot seat, and thanks to Dara Dolan for manning the fort while I was away yesterday. We are coming to you live from the College of FET Ennis campus here at the Clon Road Business Park for their open day. So loads going to be happening throughout the course of today's Morning Focus. We'll be chatting with some of the educators and learners here, and we've plenty more on the show this morning as well. Of course, we'll be chatting about fuel prices. We'll have this week's Garda Focus and lots more besides, and we'll be hearing from you, the Morning Focus listeners. So if you want to get in touch to react to anything you're hearing between now and midday, if there's anything else you'd like to bring into the conversation on the show, it is 0818 400 964 to give us a call. You can send messages via text or WhatsApp 086 1800 964. You can come on air yourself and let us know what your thoughts and views are. All you have to do is record a short voice note on WhatsApp and send it our way, or alternatively drop us an email. The address to do that is focus@clare.fm. And I'm going to kick off by speaking with educator and some of the learners here. I'm joined now on Morning Focus by Lena Hughes, who's Community Education Adult Educator here at the College of FET Ennis campus. Lena, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
And good morning to Brian Higgins and Bernie Harrington, who are community education learners as well. Folks, thanks very much for being with us this morning. Lena, maybe can you talk to us a little bit first off about what is community education? What does it aim to do for people in local communities?
Yes, community education is community-based learning. It's flexible and it offers a lot of training opportunities. It's inclusive, so it's open to everyone, and it encompasses lifelong learning and life skills, which learners can actually transfer into their lives and use them. It's a very safe learning environment, and it actually builds great capacities within communities.
And in terms of the people who are availing of the community education, does it span a wide age range?
Yes, it does. Mm-hmm. It's inclusive. Gender and age range, yes, is a part of our policies, so it's open to everyone.
Okay, very good, including yourself, Brian?
Yes. I'd be heading in the direction of the older generation, let's say.
Yeah. Well, you're well away from that. You're well away from that. Give us a bit of background. What brought you here to the College of FET? Had you wanted to return to education, or just top up your learnings in life so far?
Well, first off, I'm retired from the day job, so it's not I was looking for something to do. I have plenty to do, but I also wanted to take on things that I was interested in going back. You know, I come from a farming background, and if you're involved in farming, I suppose you're working in the environment. And when the Foraging Course came up, I thought it was ideal to learn about a lot of the plants and the flowers and everything that I would have kind of grown up with. And I have found the course very interesting. It certainly keeps your interest, and not alone that, but it's very valuable in terms of learning how to make use of plants, make use of things that we take for granted in our environment, flowers, trees, you name it. That there is a use for everything. And when I talk about use, I'm talking about in terms of, what's good for our health, in terms of diet, in terms of medicines as well, natural medicines. Also in terms of our mental approach, because being in touch with the environment, I think, is good for mental health as well. And I think all of these things, because like when you do retire, you have time in your hands, and it's good to make use of that time proactively and I suppose enhance what you might already know. And that was my approach to it. And I must say that during the course, which is not completed yet, we've yet to go to the sea foraging. We have been in the classroom, we've been in the kitchen, making soups and teas, etc. We have been making cleaning products. We have been out and about foraging and identifying the plants. And we have yet to go back to the sea, which again is a great source of natural foods and medicines as well. So
ultimately, like if we were part of a large group that got lost in a forest or in time at the sea, you'd be a good man to be with because you'd keep us alive.
well, hopefully by the time I've completed this course, I will be in a position to
Very
survive. And again, I suppose in the current environment, there's a lot of uncertainty worldwide about, even like at the moment with the Isle is an issue, but food is a very important for our survival, basically. And I think if you go back in our history, we've used foraging as a way of surviving, going back to pre-Great Hunger times and since. We've used foraging as a way.
I suppose the way the way geopolitics are at the moment, who knows? You may need to rely on that again, and not to be too pessimistic about it.
Be prepared.
Be prepared.
Exactly.
Just before I bring Bernie and Lena to come back to you, I mean, anytime we do morning focus from here, I'm always amazed at the myriad of courses that are done. There's literally something for everybody. Foraging, I may have missed that previously, or is this a relatively new addition to the programme, or can you tell us more about it?
So foraging, this introduction to foraging course is new. We piloted it in November for 4 weeks last term, and then we offered it this term starting in January. And we had planned to run one course, but we had so much interest from learners that we actually had to run 2 courses.
And how do you gauge the interest in a course? Like, how do you decide? I know there are people out there who want to know about foraging, and the likes of Brian who want to know what plants they can eat or what they can use as medicines.
Well, foraging is actually the ancient practice of identifying and gathering wild plants, mushrooms and other natural foods like seaweeds. And as a human species, we are longer doing that than we are, post-agricultural revolution, post-industrial revolution, processed foods, additives.
Going to shops.
So, we are hardwired to forage, really. And also with all the interest now in protecting the environment, the biodiversity, and living sustainably, foraging is a very, very tangible way that just encapsulates all those skills that people need to learn to actually live sustainably with and for nature. And foraging this is an introduction course, and it really starts at the very, very basics. It looks at sustainability, it looks at health and safety, it looks at protecting the environment so we don't forage endangered species or any certain areas that are protected. We also learn how to identify the toxic plants to humans that we don't need to forage, and also how to identify the plants and the seaweeds, and they're seasonal, so it's like a journey.
Yeah, really
and
interesting.
It's a journaling
stuff,
journey, so all students learn health and safety and identification, really important, and they keep a little journey, and they can divide that into months and the seasons, and learn a few plants at the beginning and build up your knowledge, because this is a lifetime journey, and it's really, really a wonderful journey.
Well, that just shows you there's something for everybody here at the College of FET, that is for sure. Let's bring Bernie Harrington in, because I know you were just on the verge of joining in on the background vocals there, so we'll get you before you do. You've done a number of courses here, Bernie.
Yes,
can you tell us a bit about what kind of kick-started wanting to learn or relearn or learn new things for you that brought you to the college here?
Okay, well, I worked in the public sector for 43 years, and for a few years before retiring, I participated in various night class courses here. I did baking, art, stained glass, crafts, mosaics, furniture upcycling, all those kind of courses.
Okay, and would a lot of those courses just be 1 year, 2 years? How does it work, or does it depend?
Terms,
terms,
okay. Yes, and sometimes you might continue on to a second term on occasions, but all fantastic, met wonderful people, excuse me, and then before I retired, I decided that I would be able to take on a course during the day. Obviously, when you're working, you can't do that. So I took up horticulture When I was doing crafts, Sheila Maher was the tutor there. Fantastic, full of energy, vibrant, and she also does the horticulture course. So that's how I got into it initially, when she was discussing the various things that they do in it, you know. So in the class we make flower pots. The course is held in Shannon, and we make flower pots from old towels and that sort of thing. Like, I also came from a farming background like Brian, so was interested in plants and that. We grew rhubarb, flowers, propagated all. When I think of over all the years, the plants that are cut and threw away, you know. So now I have a few old pots, and you just propagate them, pop them into the pot. Absolutely fantastic, and a great feeling to see them sprouting again, and you can share them with your friends and family and all of that. The fact that the horticulture course is outdoors, you have the fresh air, see new growth, fruits of our labours, see all of that.
Yeah, it must be satisfaction in seeing a particular project through from beginning to completion.
Absolutely, yeah. The change in the seasons is also fantastic. You're out there, you're hearing it, feeling it, hearing the birds. It's just a feel-good factor, and it's so healing, and of course enhances our physical and emotional well-being.
Okay.
Hopefully after this I'll be able to progress to the foraging course.
Well, you're dealing with plants there, so it sounds like you're on the right path.
Yes.
I do wonder, Brian, you know, Bernie's extolling the virtues of, you know, learning new things, but I suppose meeting new people as well, has that been part of it? And, you know, clearly the introduction to Foraging Course involves plenty of outdoors element to it as well. That's got to be good.
Yes, it is. I mean, obviously there are there's maybe 12 of us in the class, and we have opportunity to talk to each other as well about what we're interested in, and also when we're out and about foraging ourselves. And again, like I said, we have a trip back to the seaside, to the shore, to basically do some foraging there. So there's a great opportunity to meet people as well. And you meet people here doing other courses as well. Like if you go to the canteen, for instance, you can meet other people. So, and of course you meet the tutors, like Lena, for instance, who has encyclopedic knowledge of foraging and plants, etc. And this comes across as well during the course, you know. So it is very interesting. And obviously, people, regardless of age or gender or what, should, if they can, get the opportunity, they should kind of reconnect, I suppose, with nature and how our ancestors survived. I mean, if you want to put it in those terms. If they hadn't survived, we wouldn't be here today. So
that is very true.
That's something to be said about foraging. And
Morning Focus has been brought to you thanks to foraging.
Yeah, thanks to foraging.
From centuries gone by. Okay.
Exactly.
And I wonder about that as well, Lena. The length of some of the courses, the fact that if it's a term, maybe 2 terms, it allows people the opportunity to try different things. You know, if it were a 2, 3, 4 year course, you're kind of invested in something for the long term. But, you know, like Bernie's tried her hand at a number of different courses, and you're broadening your horizons and trying out very, very different things. You know, you could be doing foraging for 1 term and something a bit more, I suppose, mainstream next term.
Yes, exactly. And, you know, this foraging course it's really enabling communities to use these natural, edible and medicinal resources that are out there, and it empowers communities also in things like food security, the circular economy, sustainability, which is vital for the continuation of nature and also for ourselves. So really it's a seasonal based course, so what you learn to forage in January and February will be very different to what you learn to forage in May. So it's a good number of weeks actually, because you can actually get a lot done in the 8 weeks. And as I say, it is an introduction to foraging. So people have to learn how to actually plan their foraging, what it actually means.
Have the students had to wear their rain jackets a lot for foraging so far? Or?
We have all had to wear our boots and our rain jackets. And they've also tried to fill up their journals in the rain. But a couple of times we were very lucky, the rain stopped, and one time we actually had to go in onto the forest of the under the canopy of the forest, and we were very lucky because we actually found some very rare scarlet elf cup edible mushrooms. So the weather is the weather, nature is nature, we go prepared.
It sounds like, regardless of weather conditions, Ryan, you're having fun. It sounds like good fun.
Yes, it is good fun. Yeah, there's no doubt about it. It's not all work or anything like that, So,
or being stuck in a classroom the whole time. Yeah.
It's basically the satisfaction you get out of it. I think that's a very important part of it.
Yeah.
Very important.
What would you say, Bernie, to anyone thinking of enlisting or enrolling in a course as part of what's on offer here?
Oh, well, I couldn't say enough about it. I mean, we saw the slogan coming in there this morning, find the best in you. That's associated with the further education and training, and it has certainly brought out the best in us. The class group that I'm with, when we were coming on here today, they mentioned the sense of fulfilment that they feel, the camaraderie. We have a WhatsApp group that's set up, and outside of here, the support systems is just amazing. People going through different situations in life, and the support around that is just amazing. We also have the interactions can expand into other areas. Our Sheila, our tutor, set up, is involved in the Relay for Life, set up a tent in the Fair Green. That was a 24-hour community-based fundraising event in aid of cancer. Each year, the learners are encouraged to write about their life experiences or short poems or they're then published in a book called Simply Said, which is here as well. We attend bloom and mallow flower shows, and there's Christmas cookery classes arranged for us as well. So it's not just about the classes, the interaction, the camaraderie, the support, the fulfillment. It's just amazing. I mean, if you don't use it, you lose it, basically. So, I mean, I can't, recommend it highly enough. And
Sounds
everyone...
like there's a lot of positives to it.
Fantastic.
Just to finish with yourself then, Lena, I'm sure you encourage people to check out the website, see what range of courses are on offer, or if they have time, get along here to the open day today.
Yes, come along here. Yeah, it's online. The course is advertised online, and it really is a way of learning to be sustainable and live with nature and all the bounty and all the benefits that she offers us. So www.fetchcourses.ie is where you will find the horticulture, introduction to foraging, a range of crafts, such a great range of courses on offer.
Brilliant stuff. My thanks to the three of you, Lena Hughes, Community Education Adult Educator, and Community Education Learners, Brian Higgins and Bernie Harrington, folks. Thank you very much as well for being with us on Morning Focus live from the College of FET Ennis campus for their open day. We are going to take a short break, and when we come back, we'll be talking about one of the topics foremost in people's minds at the moment here in Ireland, fuel prices.
Giving you the facts, getting to the truth. Morning Focus on Clare FM.
And you're very welcome back to Tuesday's Morning Focus live from the College of FET Ennis campus for their extremely busy open day here. And we are going to talk about fuel prices now because the president of the Clare branch of St Vincent de Paul is calling for a €1 increase to the minimum wage, along with a broadening of eligibility for fuel allowance payments. It comes as the price of home heating oil and petrol diesel has almost doubled at the pumps due to the ongoing conflict in the Middle East. The government says it's currently reviewing measures but is not expected to continue to monitor the situation to see if the war and increasing fuel prices becomes a prolonged issue. The Clare SVP President Dennis Carty has been telling Clare FM's Dara Dolan that while government resources are limited, consumers need urgent help when the cost of living soars.
There are limits on resources, and obviously I wouldn't like to have to make those choices. But we are a wealthy country in Ireland, and we are a country with some resources. And one would like to think that those resources could be targeted to those most in need at this time. And even before this particular crisis happened, we knew that many people were struggling, as is. We've seen the numbers of people in energy arrears, 330,000 people. We've seen in ourselves, in the society, last November, we had our highest month in terms of requests for energy assistance. And my members throughout County Clare that are serving people, this would be one of the number one items, the energy costs that are afflicting people in the county. And I suppose Clare is a large county. I think it's the 7th largest in the country. There's a lot of people in rural areas. The bulk of the population live in rural areas. And people living in those areas generally have to pay higher costs in terms of their transport. So to get to work, to get to school, and also higher costs in terms of food. And there are less options for you if you're in a rural county in terms of getting to multiples and the shops. You have to travel further to get those bargains. So obviously, we would ask that something would be done to help people. And it isn't, we know that there are the social welfare system. It doesn't provide adequate support. It doesn't meet, in many cases, the minimum essential standard of living, which is a standard calculated on the basis of giving somebody an adequate standard of living, not a luxurious one. We know that it doesn't meet that, but we know that there are many people in employment too that are really, really struggling at the moment. And, the living wage, which has been calculated by a number of groups, of which St. Society of St. Vincent de Paul is involved, is $15.40 to live for a single person to have an adequate standard of living after going out to work, after paying their transport costs, after paying their accommodation and their fuel costs. But the minimum wage falls about €1.15 shy of that. So it's something that needs to be addressed to ensure that people can get through this particular crisis and have a reasonable standard of living and a comfortable standard of living.
And I know, Dennis, that increasing the minimum wage would help those that are in the most vulnerable situation, but I'm sure yourself you can already see the dilemma that, for example, the hospitality industry are going to be hearing this and they're going to be saying, well, it's us paying for the minimum wage, and maybe to a business like that, for example, a hotel, a restaurant, a cafe, that's an additional cost to them.
Of course, yes, that's right. And obviously, listen, I understand that everybody is under pressure. People are going to be under pressure in terms of fuel costs and their energy costs. This is obviously going to challenge an already difficult situation. But we would hope that government could target supports to people most in need. There are things that can be done around the fuel allowance. Like, for instance, in the budget, we sought a fuel allowance increase of $9.50 a week, and the fuel allowance increase came in, I think it was around €5, and that fell short. And the effect of that is it means that the fuel allowance still has the purchasing power of 2020, but we know fuel costs have risen very substantially since then. We know, in fact, the fuel allowance, the increases amount to around $140, but the increase in energy costs, and this was before the latest round of costs, amounts to $320 for people. We also sought support around people with disability and extra payment, people living on their own, because obviously on your own it's harder to heat the home as opposed to a multiple family, a multiple people situation. So there are things that government can do. There are things in terms of energy tariffs, maybe having a social tariff for people most in need and experiencing difficulty on their electricity bills that would ensure that they get a cheap rate or a cheaper rate than they are paying. There are things that can be done in terms of ensuring that people have access to adequate accommodation. People need, to live an adequate life, you have to earn in a county like Clare. If you've a family, 2 parents and children, you need to be getting upwards of over €700 a week. Have a reasonable standard of, and I'm not talking a luxurious one, I'm talking about just getting the basics here. You have to have that kind of an income to address that. So something has to be done for people like that.
And that was Clare SVP President Dennis Carty speaking with Dara Dolan. For more on this, I'm joined on the line now by the Shannon Sinn Féin TD, Donna McGettigan. Donna, thanks for joining us on Morning Focus.
Thanks, Alan, and good morning, everyone.
Fuel prices now either close to or in some places topping €2 a litre. Warnings that households could be facing up to €1,000 in additional costs this year. How concerned are you about the impact this is having on families across Clare and the wider region?
Well, this has been a concern for a while, and that we warned and the regulator warned that the withdrawal of energy credits would have dire consequences. And as we've seen, as just been said, 320,000 households now in electricity debt, and that's jumped by almost 16,000 in just 1 month. So it does show you that there is a crisis out there, that we are in a cost of living crisis that's deepening. It has been continuing on, and really the government do need to step in here and do something for this.
We heard Dennis Carty there calling for an increase in the minimum wage, broader access to the fuel allowance. Do you think those kind of measures are necessary right now? But do you think, even if they are necessary, they are likely to happen, given, we've heard obviously small and medium businesses, particularly in hospitality, not happy with the increases to the minimum wage already as it is?
Well, so we need to target those small and medium businesses. Like, you could have a PSI rebate for them when it comes to the minimum wage. But if you're not going to, and when you talk to those, they want to give minimum wage to their staff. It's not that they don't want to, it's just that the added cost onto them, and then the added fuel crisis onto them, and the added energy crisis onto them. So there needs to be targeted measures for those, as for small and medium businesses as well. They can't absorb endless increases on everything that's going up. But the government also need to look at, every time that fuel prices go up, they get in extra millions in terms of this. So they need to target, particularly those with disabilities. They have a heat or eat. Now that's a byline from them, and it's an awful situation to be in. But one thing that's coming through in the last week into our office is those carers that are having to drive around, particularly in rural Clare. So their costs of going to work now has gone up. So some of them are travelling up to 44 kilometres between one person and another in terms of going into care for people. So they could find themselves someday not being able to afford to put petrol in their car, diesel in their car, and how are they going to get to those people, those vulnerable people, particularly in rural areas. So it needs to be target measured all around, and they need to stop just reviewing it, and they need to put action into it.
Yeah, there's been criticism of the government's wait-and-see approach to the current crisis. You take a dim view of the waiting to see how the situation develops, given people already greatly affected as things stand.
Well, that's it. It's already developed. People are already struggling. We have persistent poverty here in Clare, as your last speaker said. So this is already happening. Why, at the rainy day, it's lashing. Give the people what they need. We can't keep going on like this. And then to say, just pick up the phone to the community welfare officer. There's some people out there that just cannot, are above the threshold. They're not going to get help. What about those people? And then they'll say that, people won't be cut off. But that's not entirely true. If you look at people that are on prepay, they're cut off every time their money runs out in their meter. They're literally cut off, and then they're left waiting until they can get in the payment. And if they go to the CWO, it's not immediate, it takes a while. So they're left without electricity.
Donna, even if the government doesn't want to bring in measures or energy credits or anything of that nature, the fact that, as many are highlighting, that they're benefiting from the increased tax revenue as the fuel prices head in a northerly direction, should they at least be looking at reducing the excise duties or VAT, given how much of a litre of petrol and diesel goes to the government, to ease pressure on households and motorists?
Well, we've called for that. They need they need to bring down that excise duty. We've asked them not to put in the rates that they said they're going to, the rises in petrol and diesel. We've asked them not to do that. We've asked them about the carbon tax as well. That could be reduced as well. That needs to be reduced. That's something that we're calling for, and all opposition are calling for these. Even if you look at the way the energy companies they can set their standing charges whatever the way they want. They're currently free to do so. So they could even be looking at that. We've My colleague Pat Daly has introduced 2 new pieces of legislation on that. Even that these are measures that should be looked at. This sitting waiting to see what's happening while people are struggling to put food on their table and we have persistent poverty in areas, this is not going to help. We need action, and that's basically the call that needs to go out there.
Donna, before I let you go, I do want to ask you about another very important matter, one which you've spoken to you and others many times about on the show. That is the situation with healthcare in the Midwest, and in particular whether we're going to see a new Model 3 hospital and indeed where it would be. Jennifer Carroll McNeil approving the acquisition of a 43-acre site in Raheen in Limerick. Anger and deep frustration been expressed by health campaigners in this county. There was I think in their heart of hearts, a lot of us suspected that this additional hospital may indeed end up in Limerick. What's your reaction to that? Are you not surprised but disappointed nonetheless?
I'm extremely disappointed by this decision. It means that for Clare people, particularly out those in West, have further again to travel because Raheen is out past UHL. There's no mention of option C in this, which is a brand new hospital in the Midwest, and we're calling for it to be in Clare and as close to Ennis as possible. Once again, it means that Clare has been left behind. And what I would ask here is, what do our government TDs think of this decision themselves? Are they happy with it, or are they going to fight against it?
What would you say to maybe potential defence that there'd be benefits from having a new hospital close to University Hospital Limerick itself?
Well, it's not going to benefit the people of West Clare. You know, they have further again to travel. It's not going to benefit them at all. And then you have that golden hour. They're not going to meet that golden hour. We already have issues with ambulances and wait times. It's not going to help the people in West Clare. And once again, they're feeling left out.
At this stage, though, given that approval has been given for the acquisition of that site, does it feel like it's too late to do anything about it? This new hospital is going to be in Limerick, and what can you do?
Well, we need to push for option C, because we don't see that. That was the one thing that we all signed off on. We all signed the letter saying option C had to be happening in conjunction with option B. So we need to push. We need to really push for option C. We need to see that happening now, because it'll take a few years for it to be built. So we need to see that motion being carried out now. Once again, I need to see the government TDs coming out on this.
OK, we do have to leave it there. Donna, thank you for joining us. The Shannon Sinn Féin TD, Donna McGettigan, with us on Morning Focus. I'd love to hear your thoughts on not just fuel prices, but the situation that we just discussed there in terms of healthcare and the approval given to the acquisition of that site in Raheen. Are you disappointed? Are you not surprised? Let me know your thoughts on that, particularly if you're in West and North Clare. 086 1800 964 for your messages via text or WhatsApp, or call 0818 400 964. You're listening to Morning Focus live from the College of FET Ennis campus. We'll be back with more after this short break. You are back at the College of FET Ennis campus in the Clon Road Business Park with myself, Alan Morrissey, for Tuesday's Morning Focus. We are here for their extremely busy open day, and there's some great music as well and everything happening here. It's 0818 400 964 if you want to give us a call to let us know what's on your mind. Perhaps you've something to share, be it on anything we're talking about, fuel prices, that's exercising a lot of people at the moment, or maybe the news that the Health Minister has given approval for acquisition of that 43-acre site in Raheen in Limerick. So it very much looks like any new Model 3 hospital is going to be in Limerick and not in Clare. So let us know your thoughts on that. 0818 400 964. Messages via text or WhatsApp 086 1800 964. Voice notes via WhatsApp to the same number, or use focus@clare.fm, which is our email address. We're speaking to a number of the educators and learners here at the College of FET Ennis campus, and I'm joined by two learners this morning now, Crona OD and Shannon MacNamara, who are both PLC learners. Crona and Shannon, good morning.
Morning to you, Ellen.
Thanks very much for joining me here. Crona, let's start with yourself. Tell us a little bit about your background, what you're learning, and what kind of encouraged you to enlist, to sign up and come here.
So I'm currently from Kilmore McMahon, and I'm studying the QQI Level 5 in childcare, and I think this course is a great opportunity for anybody to pursue. There's a lot to learn, especially about children and about their holistic development and their well-being, and the course contains about 6 modules and you have a work placement involved as well, so you're getting experience, hands-on experience that way, and it opens doors to jobs as well. And even you can pursue a level 6, which I'm planning on doing in September. It opens a lot of doors, just as well as to childcare. It opens a lot of doors to social care work, and you could even work in the Clare Family Resource Centre as well.
So a lot of potential opportunities there. And were you someone who's always been interested in children? Had you any experience of childcare prior to studying childcare level 5?
I've never worked with children before, but I do have a lot of interest with working with children. Mostly kind of around their welfare. I do see myself going down the social care route in the future. So that's my big plans anyway.
Okay, very good. Shannon, what about yourself? What's your own background and what are you learning here?
I'm from Clare and I'm currently studying in the traineeship for the beauty therapy. It's a lovely course. It's very hands-on, and we've all the different modules such as like massage, makeup, skincare, nails, the whole lot. And it's lovely, and we do the work experience as well. So we're out in our salons on a Friday and we're in college then Monday to Thursday. And the tutors are lovely. They're very helpful, and the college is great. And it's a great course. You have a load of different opportunities. So like if we wanted to, we could go out and work in cruise ships, and you've a load of different other opportunities working with salons and
working on a cruise ship. It sounds very appealing given the weather that's out there at the moment, isn't it? I like it. What did you know about the college here beforehand? Did you do a bit of research on it? As I mentioned earlier on, there's such a wide range of courses to choose from, I suppose, for choice.
Yeah, well, I suppose a few of like my family and friends had done other courses here, like the childcare and the social care and all that. But there's a girl doing the hairdressing apprenticeship, and she'd mentioned it to me about the beauty, and I've been thinking about doing it for a good while now. And I just came on and applied, and I went, and it's lovely. And it's really nice. It's working out really well.
And had you any experience prior to this, Shannon, of working in a salon, or was it just doing friends and family's makeup and that kind of stuff?
Friends and family, and I always had a good interest in it. And it's just it was lovely now.
And for you, Crona, did you know anything at all about the college here beforehand?
I did, but I've never. It's my first time actually in this college, and I think it's a great facility. Like the support network here is fantastic. Like the teachers, there's always help at hand. You're never stuck at all, never ever stuck. So I definitely come back here again and do another course.
Would you say the same, Shannon, that the educators themselves are very helpful if you need one-on-one or you need a bit of extra info on something you're struggling with? That's very forthcoming.
Yeah, the tutors are lovely and they're very helpful. And even the other girls doing the course, they've no bother helping you out if you need it. There's great support here in the college. And Solomon and everything, they're all brilliant. He does the tech here, and they'll all help you out if you need it. It's great.
How have you found the course so far, Crona? And what aspects of it do you enjoy the most? I think both of you have kind of mentioned the getting a bit of work experience or getting out into the field, your chosen field, to experience what it would be like to work in that. But are there other aspects of the course you've enjoyed?
A lot of people they wouldn't exactly like the workload, but I actually did like the workload because I actually like the assignments and things. I found that I learned a lot from doing the assignments. I know there was a lot of theory and stuff, and there was a lot of we had about 2 portfolios to do, but I learned a lot by doing them 2 portfolios. A lot.
That sounds like quite a portfolio. Sounds like quite a bit of work.
Yeah,
never one of them. Never mind 2.
We had 2 of them, and that took between about October till just about this month to do. It does quite a lot of work, but it's worth it in the end. If it's something that you really want to do, I think it's really worth it. Yeah.
And in terms of that workload, is this 1 semester, or is it 2 semesters, and does that mean then that the workload is condensed, so there's more there to do, but you go into it with your eyes open, that?
Yeah.
Or is it longer term than that?
It's actually over 2 semesters, but I think when they're going running the course again in September, they're going kind of breaking down into 1 semester each, so you'll have to have this amount of work done in such a short space of time.
Yeah.
But other than that, look, as long as you keep on top of it, that's my main advice. As long as you keep on top of it, keep doing the work, you'll fly through it, no problem.
I kind of think anyone who's signing up for a course here, they want to do whatever work is required, or they wouldn't have bothered signing up in the first place.
Exactly. Yeah.
You'll be fine. There's no stragglers in your class, is what you're saying anyway.
Definitely not.
What about yourself, Shannon? What's the structure of your course like? Is it 2 semesters? And like with Crona, is there? Does that mean there's a lot of projects and things like that? But you're fine with that?
Yeah, well, we had exams at Christmas, so it's broken up. We had some where our courses ran through iTech, so all our certificates and our diploma will be iTech certified. So at Christmas we had makeup and mani and pedi and professional conduct and business exams, and then we'll have the rest. So we're already qualified. We passed those now. We're qualified, and then we'll have the rest in May. And we have assignments to do, and there's a lot of practical work to be done. So we have, for each module, we have consultation forms, and you have to have evidence, and you fill out each of those, and then you have the assignments. So we had a gel polish assignment to do. We had to research the industry and the product and all of that, and put that in for information for someone who wouldn't know, we'd say. And then we're doing the work placement, so we should fill out the QQI work module and do our work placement in the salons. We do 240 hours, which is great, I think, because you learn a lot when you're out working in salons and how to work in the industry.
Yeah, that seems like a lot of hands-on experience, so you will know what it is likely to be like once you're employed in it. I just wonder, Crona, about particular skills or experiences during the course that have stood out to you.
I suppose. Sorry, no, my mind's gone really blank.
You're okay. We'll listen to the lovely music while you're thinking. Because I would imagine there's a lot, when you're looking after children.
Yeah.
There's a lot of skills you need to be.
There is a lot of skills.
Not just aware of, but on top of.
There is, I suppose, a lot of hands-on kind of skills. Do you know what I mean? When it comes to taking care of them. Especially in work experience, like I found there is a lot of hands-on skills, of how you deal with children and everything, and like nappy change and even like teaching them as well. There's a lot involved in that, like a lot of kind of like physical work as well.
Was there any of it that surprised you? I mean, like when you have an interest in something, you might think, oh well, I know all the various aspects that are involved in that, but then. With childcare, I'm sure there are so many different things that maybe at some point you went, God, I actually hadn't considered that. Or has it all been what you expected up to this point?
It has all been what I've expected, yeah.
Okay. What about yourself, Shannon? Anything on you? I mean, in terms of particular skills or experiences, you must be learning quite a bit when you're doing the work experience in the salons.
Oh yeah, it's very hands-on, and there's a certain stigma as well around, with say, beauty therapists, that they wouldn't be the brightest, which isn't the case at all.
Is that that must be very frustrating, particularly when you've a passion for it, you want to get involved in it, but there's an incorrect perception, and
definitely.
Some people might look down their noses at it.
Yeah.
How does that make you feel, or has anyone ever expressed that view to you?
There's certain people would make certain comments saying, oh, it's not, you're not very smart, you're only doing that because, oh, you're a girly girl and you can't do anything else. But one of our modules is anatomy and physiology, which is nearly the same as first year nursing. We have to learn the whole lot of it. So it's intense, but
so
it's
you take
it's really
out your
enjoyable.
coursework and you show it to them and say, here, you do that.
Yeah, honestly. There's a lot that goes into it, now in fairness, because you have a lot of the chemical processes as well with the gel polish, and you have to know how all of those work, and you have all the contrary. If you harm a client, God forbid, you have to know how to correct that, and don't do it. Very important.
And maybe in terms of surprising aspects of the course, has that learning the physiology and all that, has that been a surprise to you? Did you assume, or had you thought that might be part of what you'd be learning? A
few of the other beauticians I met had mentioned it, and I always kind of had an interest in biology and anatomy and physiology already, so I'm actually really enjoying it. But it's a shock. You wouldn't think it's part of beauty therapy, but I suppose that's why they call it beauty therapy now instead of a beautician, because it is seen as a therapy, whereas many years ago we'd say like massage, that would have been used as a medical treatment. So it's,
and no one thinks of that as a medical treatment.
No.
But do you think even the rebranding and the renaming of it is helping to address the kind of that perception of beauty therapists?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, there's definitely.
It is a discipline.
Yeah, like it's a very strict industry as well. You have to be. Sorry, my mind's gone blank. You have to treat clients well, you have to be polite.
All the boxes have to be ticked.
You have to look presentable, act professional. You have to think about your clients' needs as well as the needs of your own salon and staff. And, It's a lot. There's a lot in it, and it is. Once you get into it, it's really enjoyable. Like if you're a people person like myself, you'll really enjoy it. I couldn't imagine now sitting in an office all day doing paperwork. I'd love to be out chatting. Really.
Yeah, if you're a people person, it sounds like you're heading down the right road, and you'll be dealing with a lot of them. In terms of looking ahead, Crona, and you kind of mentioned, I think what the next step for you is get the level 5 qualification, go on to level 6. But how many, once you complete the course, how many more stages do you have to go through before you ultimately will hopefully get a job in childcare?
I think it's really all down to getting more experience, Alan, really, for myself anyway, because that's something that I'm actually kind of lacking in at the moment. So I think getting more experience with children, more hands-on experience with children would be a benefit to me. But I've also found that while working with children in the past, since last October, like it does require a lot of patience, and you have to be patient with a child. It's as simple as that. And you have to be careful. Like, do you know what I mean? You have to be a caring person, And ever since it was my first time working with children, and I love working with children now, and that's something I want to do for the rest of my life.
And I suppose it's a sector where they're always looking for people to work.
They're always looking for people. They're crying out for people. Yeah.
You'd be answering their calls, answering their prayers.
Definitely.
Very good. What about yourself, Shannon? What are your plans once you complete this course?
Well, at the moment, I'm lucky. I'm lucky to have already been offered a job. I'm working in the salon I'm doing work placement in.
Oh, there we go now.
So, but hopefully in the future, I would like to own my own business down the line with any luck.
Very good. Well, we wish you both the very best in your respective fields. My thanks to Shannon MacNamara and Crona OD, PLC learners, join us here on Morning Focus. You both passed the radio interview test anyway, if that was anything you were looking at in the future. So thanks to the both of you for joining us here on the show. Loads more to come on Morning Focus. 0818 400 964, 086 1800 964 is our text and WhatsApp number. And of course, this month we're teaming up with Home Gallery Interiors to give you the chance to transform your sitting room. An incredible €5,000 prize. So up until Thursday the 26th of March, Clare FM is going to reveal a daily keyword. The keyword will be announced just once each day between 6 a.m. and 7 p.m. So make sure you're listening all day. And when you hear the keyword, log on to our website, clare.fm, and enter your name, email address and the keyword. Now, do note, only one entry per person is permitted. You have to use your correct name and the same email address for every submission. At the end of the competition, all entries linked to your name and email address will be totaled. And if you use a different email address or misspell your name, your entries may not be counted correctly. So do be aware of that, and be sure to double check all the details before submitting. And we will announce 18 keywords throughout the competition. The listener who collects the most keywords will top the leaderboard and win the prize. And in the event of a tie, a dramatic tie, the finalists will be entered into a draw to determine the overall winner. So that's our brilliant March giveaway, with thanks to Home Gallery Interiors in Ennis, Galway, Loughrea and Naas. To win this amazing prize, you need to listen all day, every day. And in terms of T's and C's, they do apply, and they're available on our website, the aforementioned clare.fm. This is Morning Focus live from the College of FET Ennis Campus for their open day. We'll have more after this break.
The voice of your community. Clare FM's Morning Focus.
And you're very welcome back to Morning Focus, live from the Clonroad Business Park. We're at the College of FET Ennis Campus, to be precise. We're here for their open day, and we will be hearing from more educators and learners throughout the course of the show. But I am joined by the long arm of the law now, because Garda Albert Hardyman from Ennis Garda Station is with us with their community policing unit. He's here for this week's Garda Focus. Albert, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Thanks very much for being with us. Look, lots to let the listeners know about. We will start with information on a number of burglaries. Start by telling us about the multiple incidents that Guardian Shannon are investigating.
Yeah, Guardian Shannon are investigating multiple incidents of trespassing and attempted burglaries on Sunday night into Monday morning of the 9th of March. We believe there was maybe 3 to 4 youths working together, and they were captured on CCTV footage ringing doorbell cameras and trying car doors and to gain access into those cars in estates parked on the road and also parked in driveways. So on occasions these suspects were captured trying the doors of houses. So we say attempted burglaries. So to see if they were opened, we're asking your listeners if anyone witnessed anything unusual last Sunday night, or may have seen a group of young lads, we say, canvassing the area, maybe looking for cars or what have you, into the hours of Monday morning. If they could contact Shannon Garda Station on 061 395 600.
Okay, what can you tell us about a burglary that occurred in 6 Mile Bridge?
Yeah, they're investigating a burglary at Rosedale Court last Saturday, the 7th. It happened at approximately 3 p.m. There was damage to the front door lock, but nothing was taken. So if anyone had witnessed anything unusual last Saturday, if they could contact 6 Mile Bridge Gardaí on 061 369 133.
And the last burglary you want to let us know about, Gardaí and Scariff are investigating.
Scariff, yeah. And in Scariff Gardaí are investigating a burglary that occurred last Wednesday. It was the 4th of March, approximately 4 a.m. in Lochiel, Whitegate, where we believe 3 males attempted to break into a house, but they were disturbed by the neighbours. So if you witness anything or saw anything unusual, please contact Scariff Garda Station on 061 922 790. And we'd also appeal to the public that if they do come across someone that may be carrying out what they see as something suspicious, don't try and tackle the perpetrators. Maybe just contact the guards immediately and take refuge in a safe place.
Okay, we'll make a journey down south to Kilkee next for an incident of fraud. Tell us more, Albert.
Yeah, this is a topic you've talked about quite regularly with Sergeant Houlihan on your show. Kilkee Gardaí are investigating an incident of fraud that occurred last Wednesday, the 4th of March, where the injured party received a phone call purporting to be from her bank. In this case, it was the Bank of Ireland they said they were from, and they asked the injured party to go into her banking app to confirm the activity on her account. And in doing so, they asked her to move money from her bank account to her Revolut account, and this gave access to her account remotely. And the injured party had money then removed from her account, quite a substantial amount. So we're asking all your listeners to double check the validity of all callers about your banking. At no stage do banks ring you up and say, listen, we need to move your money. It's not a policy of the banks. So if the listeners are listening, do not give anyone access to your accounts or move money from one account to another while you're on the phone with an individual.
Okay, very good advice, Albert. We'll move on to some incidents of criminal damage that you're going to fill us in on. The first of which occurred in Kilrush.
Yeah, in Kilrush, Kilrush Gardaí are investigating damage to a front door on Fahy's Road where eggs and other food items were thrown. Now this occurred on the 4th of March at approximately 9:30 p.m. in the evening. So while there was no permanent damage, it is very, very distressing for the homeowner. So any information to Kilrush Garda Station on 065 908 0550.
Okay, the next incident took place in 6 Mile Bridge.
6 Mile Bridge, yeah. We're investigating damage to a window last Thursday, the 5th of March, in the Ennis Orga estate, where a vice grips was thrown through a window. We are asking listeners, did they see anything unusual or see anyone around that vicinity at the time, to contact 6 Mile Bridge Gardaí at 061 369 133.
Okay, Ennis Gardaí investigating criminal damage as well?
Yeah, we're investigating criminal damage where 6 bales of silage that had plastic wrapping on them were slashed. This occurred last Monday, the 3rd of March, in the Ballyalla area of Ennis. So anyone with information or so maybe persons around there, the bales are quite big, so if you saw someone acting suspiciously around, you may have information. If you could pass it on to Ennis Gardaí at 065 6848 100.
That's not the only incident though the Gardaí and Ennis are looking into.
It's not, unfortunately. We're also investigating criminal damage to a house in the Westfields estate area where eggs and other food items were thrown at the front door, very similar to the one back west. Again, while this damage is not permanent, it is distressing for the homeowner. So we're asking your listeners for information in relation to the incident, and contact us at Ennis Garda Station at 065 6848 100.
And Gardaí in Shannon investigating criminal damage to a motorhome.
Yeah, we're back down to Shannon. We're investigating the criminal damage to that motorhome, which parked in Corrib Drive area of Shannon. And on the 3rd of March, somewhere around, we believe, 11:20 p.m, we believe a number of persons were down in that area and they were disturbed. But we're asking listeners if they have any information in relation to the matter, if they could contact Shannon Gardaí on 061 395 600.
Okay.
Still down in Shannon, as you're saying. We're investigating multiple incidents of criminal damage to cars across numerous housing estates in Shannon between the 5th of March and into the 6th of March between 7 p.m. and 4 a.m, where car windows were broken in an attempt to gain entry. And in Finian Park, 2 youths were seen running from a car that had a broken back window. This, as we've highlighted earlier on in this broadcast, is that we're concerned because we believe a number of young persons are going around and targeting certain areas. So we're basically asking people to ensure that your cars are locked up at night, not to place your keys in an area where someone can gain access to, and make sure that all doors are locked up. And if you have CCV in operation, make sure it's working, and we can hopefully deter these people from continuing.
Yep, hopefully so, making people aware of the first step in that regard. To Kilrush next, Albert, and assault causing harm. What can you tell us?
Yeah, this happened last Monday, the 2nd of March at 12 midday. So there was quite a number of people around, where 2 males assaulted each other on Henry Street, the main street, where weapons were used. Now, obviously, it was very distressing to people walking by, but Gardaí have 2 males before the court on this matter. But if you were a witness or you did see this incident, we'd like to speak with you. If you could contact Kilrush Gardaí on 065 908 0550. Following on from this assault, at 1:30 a.m. that night, a house in the town was targeted and a firearm was discharged at the front window. So, again, if you have any information, we'd really appreciate it. If you could contact us at Kilrush Garda Station at 065 908 0550.
Okay, and to finish, Albert, as always for Garda Focus, there's essential crime prevention advice. This week it's in relation to an initiative called See Something, Say Something. Tell us more about that, please.
Yeah, what we're hoping to see something and to say something campaign is an initiative by An Garda Síochána and Crona. It's to encourage the public to report suspicious activity and antisocial behaviour. I suppose key ways to report to the Gardaí include the local station, or if you know a member privately and you talk to them. But if you could contact your local station directly to report concerns, at least it affords us the opportunity to follow on with investigations in relation to it. Now, we have a confidential reporting line, and you can use the Garda confidential line at 1-800 666 111 to report crime anonymously. So that number again is 1-800 666 111. There's also the text alert and the community alert, which we encourage people to do, and participate in local community crime prevention programs, so that you receive and send texts about suspicious activity in your area. And it's a good way of letting people know in the area what's happening.
Okay, brilliant stuff, Albert. Thank you as ever
for
filling us in and giving us that essential advice. That's Garda Albert Hardiman from Community Policing at Ennis Garda Station, bringing us this week's Garda Focus. Lots of you getting in touch on my chat with Donna McGettigan. Some on the fuel, most though in relation to the chat about the Health Minister Jennifer Carroll McNeill giving the thumbs up for the acquisition of a 43-acre site in Raheen in Limerick. So it looks like whatever new hospital we get, Model 3 Hospital, that is also going to be in Limerick. Lots of you quite exercised about that. Rosemary says, hi, why can't the HSE build a new hospital on the site of Our Ladies, which is an eyesore in the approach road to Ennis? Another listener not happy with Clare's TDs. They say we need a hospital in Ennis and the HSE buy a site even further away from the taxpayers of Clare. This listener says the Limerick TDs are running the Midwest and have been for years. We need to protest like the farmers and truck drivers, etc. And then on the fuel, listener here says people don't stop lighting fires in April. The fuel allowance should be extended until about May. Lots more coming in on both of those topics. If you want to have your say on fuel prices and the need for further support or energy credits from the government, or if you want to react to that news that does look like it's going to be a new hospital, but it's also going to be located in Limerick, let us know your thoughts on either of those, or maybe both of those. 0818 400 964 is the number to call, and 086 1800 964 is the text and WhatsApp number. We'll bring you more great guests here from the College of FET Ennis campus after some music from Paul Simon.
Only just don't work out that way. And the course of a lifetime runs over and over again. No, I would not give you false hope on this strange and mournful day. But the mother and child reunion is only emotional way. Oh, little darling of mine, I just can't believe it's so. Though it seems strange to say, I've never been late so low, such a mysterious way. And the course of a lifetime runs over and over again. But I would not give you false hope on this strange and mournful day, when the mother and child reunion is only emotional way. Oh, the mother and child reunion is only emotional way. Oh, the mother and child reunion is only a moment away. Is only emotional way. Oh, the mother and child reunion is only a moment away.
Paul Simon, a mother and child reunion on Morning Focus. As you can tell, I'm not in the studio, but not too far from it, at the College of FET Ennis campus at the Clon Road Business Park. And I'm joined by more guests here. And a good morning to Lexi, Bowe, Katie, Quinlan, who are Youthreach learners, and from recognised prior learning, Femi Odubote. Guys, good morning to all of you.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks very much for being with us. Look, we're talking about a lot of different aspects of education and learning so far throughout the course of the show, and I guess the different pathways into education and then into employment. So thanks for being with us. Femi, I'll start with yourself. Tell us a bit about recognised prior learning programme. Can you explain what that is and how it works?
Yeah, I will surely do now. So recognition prior of learning is a program designed, right, for professionals across all sectors in Ireland, including self-employed, right? Because RPL, the short word, right, values and recognize years of professional experience is just as important as traditional classroom learning, which means you don't have to come to the classroom. Your experience is your guideline to do your assignment, your assessment brief. So, and it's also an opportunity for you to advance in your career and meet the national standard, professional standard, okay? And it is flexible. So that is RPL.
And was that part of the appeal for you in signing up for it, that there's flexibility there in terms of whatever else you might have going on in your life?
Definitely the flexibility, right? This is what I say, flexibility and balance, right? So RPA create that flexibility, to manage the balance between your day-to-day busy working schedule and achieving your KQR qualification. So, which is very easy for you to know. No pressure at your own time, right? Our PA coordinators understand how busy it could be. You could be a parent, you have to do other activities, right? So at your own time, you do your assessment brief, and there's always support from the tutor, from the RPA coordinator, and from the management, in the sectors, across all sectors. I got to get this program through my manager, my line manager, Pearl Nugent, with the Caroline, the coordinator, and so far it's been fantastic.
Yeah, and the help from the educators and staff here, that's a consistent message I've been getting from all the learners so far this morning, that they really do kind of go the extra distance to help you if you have any questions or
100% sure. Look, I'll be coming to this college since I think 2015. You know, and I could tell you the personal growth.
You love it here, so.
Oh my God, I'm part of this. Look, I'm part of this community, right? I talk about this community outside because this college, I've done a lot for this, not just for this town, for this county, right? I could remember when I first started around 2015. I mean, it was an old building, right? This place used to be the old canteen, and I could remember the first time. I did demonstration skills at the same place, right? So for someone like me, you know, I'm an example of the product of this college, and I'm so delighted. I'm sitting right here speaking to you guys.
Ah, thank you very much. We'll return the compliments. We're delighted you're here talking to us as well. And you've definitely seen this place develop. We've even seen changes over the years. We've been here as well. So Femi, you're the recognised prior learning programme. What about the Youthreach programme? Lexi, Bowe, tell us a little bit about why you decided to get involved with it and what it involves.
So I decided to go to Youthreach because when I was in mainstream school, I was really struggling. It was a very hard time in my life for me, and I'd heard about Youthreach from my sister because she attended a few years before me, and she said she had a great time. She made so many friends, and it helped her a lot. So I looked into it, and I came to the open day, just like today, and I applied for it through...
Was there great music on that open day?
There was great
harmonies and everything going on here behind us.
There really was. I applied for it through the Fetch, and I got accepted after we had an interview with the teachers. It's really a great school. I've never been happier to be somewhere every morning. I wake up and I'm happy to come to school. I get to see my friends. The teachers, they really help you out with stuff. If you're struggling, they'll sit with you one-on-one after class. They're never irritated with you for needing more help than you usually would in a mainstream school.
So you're not afraid, or you're not, you know, because maybe in a mainstream school you might be reluctant to ask the teacher too many questions if there's 29 other sets of eyes looking at them or hands up in the air.
Yeah, because we have small classrooms. We have, I'd say, the most is 12 people in the class. So you're kind of sitting there and you know everyone's friendly. Everyone is here for the same reason. Everyone went through the same thing in mainstream school, so everyone's accepted of each other. So you all sit and the teacher will help you. We have our mentors every week, which we go in for half an hour. We tell them everything, like which problems we're having, if we need help with anything, and they help out every time. And then we have a guidance counsellor each Monday who helps us look into what we want to do after school and helps us apply for funding and Susie grant and stuff like that. So it's great.
Okay, you're getting loads of help there. So and I do wonder, listening to Lexi, Katie, whether you're agreeing with all of that. Has your experience been similar? Like what brought you to the Youthreach programme? Is it similar to Katie?
I'd be very similar to Lexi. I never liked school, especially secondary school. I just hated getting up in the mornings, hated coming in. And I remember actually the summer after TY, I said to my mother, I'm not going in again. Like, I'm not doing it. And she said, will you go in for a few months? I said, you can buy all the books and the uniforms and everything like that, but I won't be staying there. And about...
I would have had the courage to say that to my parents.
By about October, I was working full time, and then by February I was in here. So I knew I didn't want to come here, and I remember a few of my friends saying, yeah, like I go to Youthreach and it's completely different, and they were 100% right. It's in normal school, teachers are kind of above you and you have to respect them, but they don't really respect you back in the same way. But inside in Youthreach, you don't call anyone by their second names. It's more like a conversation.
So you're both learning with and learning from peers.
Yeah. And it's just a totally different kind of vibe.
Okay. And what particular things are you learning?
We're learning, so we do workplace safety, which teaches about like kind of our rights as employees and our right to health and safety in a safe workplace. We do work experience, which is we go to different workplaces for about 2 weeks and we see how we like it. So if we wanted to do dog grooming or something like that, we could go to a dog grooming place and experience it for a couple of weeks firsthand to see if we like it, and then we do reports on it and say what we did every day, what we liked about it, what we didn't like about it, and it gives us a great chance to kind of understand what we actually want to do with life.
Okay. I wonder, is it the same for you, Lexi, that kind of going out and getting experience in different types of jobs to see what you like, what you mightn't like, what might suit you, what might not?
Getting out and doing work experience was probably the best thing I've ever done in my life. My first 2 weeks work experience, I went to a cafe. I'm still employed there now. It gave me a job. It gave me stability a little bit. I had a great time. And then my second work experience, I went somewhere that I really want to go to after college and pursue in the future. And it was probably one of the greatest opportunities I've ever been given, is to go up and do work experience. And I think it should be something that's done everywhere in each school.
Okay, very good. Femi, with recognised prior learning, is there an aspect of going out into the workplace or anything like of that nature?
You don't need no workplace, because your years of experience is your guideline. All right, because our plan is about, you exploring what you've learned over the years, right? And you don't need to come to the classroom because you know everything. So it's just for you to put everything down, write it down, so no work experience is needed. So, and I'm going to say this, right, RPL is one of the greatest program design at the moment, right, because it gives people, professionals, not just professionals, across all sectors in the island, including self-employed, to come join the program, your skills, put it down and advance in your career path, right, and to meet the national professional standard, and to climb up the ladder, which is very, very good for the community. And I'm glad that program is introduced, right? So
what difference can this type of recognition make for someone's career progression then?
Could you repeat the question?
I know I'm literally battling with the band. Yeah. What difference can this type of recognition make for someone's career progression? Or what does it make? Difference has it made for you, as an example?
Oh, definitely. The difference it makes for me is, right, it gives me the opportunity to express myself, to show how far I've learned in my work environment, my experience, my professional experience, and again to gain more knowledge, because you have all the support. The support is there from the tutor, right? You do your assessment brief, you send it to the tutor, you get the feedback, that gives you the self-confidence that you're doing very well in your field, and you remain very, very competitive, because the more you grow, in your career, the more you climb the ladder, the more the opportunities are there for you. Not just for me, right? For everybody, including you. That's the fact, because they want the experience, they want you to share the experience so other people could learn from it, and then you could know yourself how far you've gone in your professionalism. I don't know if I answered your question.
I know you did, and then some. I like thorough answers as opposed to monosyllabic answers. So, Lexi, looking ahead, what are your future plans after Youthreach? Is doing this helping to solidify in your mind what you might like to do long term?
Definitely, 100%. It is helping me out, trying to figure out what I'd like to do. We're currently going to college open days. We did Galway last week, and we have Limerick on Thursday. I'm looking into going into an art PLC course so I could get my level 5, and then hopefully go on and either do a level 6 or an apprenticeship. So the teachers have really helped me out in trying to figure out where I'm going, what I want to do. They're very supportive of me, and they really help a lot. Galway was nice. We went up, we had a look around the PLC courses, and they're constantly offering you different experience on what you can do. And they always tell you to never have a closed mind, because you can do whatever you like, and they really help out trying to figure out everything.
Very good. What about yourself, Katie?
I'd like to go on and do an electrical apprenticeship. So it'd be a 4-year apprenticeship, and I knew I didn't want to go straight into work in this year. I kind of wanted my level 5, but I didn't know how to go about it in a way that I'd also be working towards my apprenticeship. But when I went to the guidance counsellor, she showed me pre-apprenticeship courses that I could do. So there's one in GTI that I've applied for. So I'll be over in Galway hopefully this time next year.
Very good. 2 women who know what they want to do. For those, Femi, to finish with yourself, who aren't sure what to do, professionals who may have years of experience but no formal qualification, why should they go down the RPL route?
Oh, that's the opportunity for them, right? Because there's so many professionals, right? They don't have the formal KQR qualification, so that is one of the main reasons RPL has been set up, right? Is for them to achieve those formal KQR qualification and to advance in their career path and to meet the professional standard. For them to be very competitive in whatever sector they are, like I said, including self-employed. So that is why RPL values and recognize years of professional experience. Nothing. They didn't say, "Oh, you have to have that for my education."
Yeah.
The most important thing is your professional years of experience is your guideline. You know,
it stands to you.
So, which is very, very important. And thank you to whoever, decided we should have RPL. They did something great.
Well, there is a man who's really happy with recognized prior learning.
I'm really, really happy, right? Because I just finished one of my module, right? And I'm on to another module, and I have one more module to complete. And we are already deliberating about maybe after I finish the module for the KQR level 5, which is going to make me fully trained, right? As a professional working as healthcare assistant, ACA, with Health Service Executive. HSA in the community sense. As you understand, as ACA, we're very visible in the community, so it's very, very important to establish yourself that you are fully trained. Let me cut it because I could keep talking.
And on that extremely positive note, hey, if healthcare doesn't work out, radio would be great. Definitely have the gift of the gab. That's Femi Odubote, part of the recognised prior learning programme and the Youthreach learning programme. Lexi, Bowe and Katie Quinlan. Ladies, thank you very much as well for being with us on Morning Focus. After this break, we're going to hear from the East Clare native who's taking a lead role in, yes, the SpongeBob musical. You're back with Morning Focus and myself, Alan Morrissey. We are down the road from the station. We're at the College of FET campus here at the Clown Road Business Park in Ennis, and we have lots more to come on today's show. 0818 400 964. Give us a call, let us know what's on your mind. You can also text or WhatsApp us 086 1800 964. Send us a voice note via WhatsApp if you want to air your opinions yourself, or use focus@clare.fm, which is of course our email address. And lots of you getting in touch in relation to fuel prices, and also the other element of that chat that I had with the Shannon Sinn Féin TD Don McGettigan earlier on, which was of course the anger and deep frustration expressed by health campaigners in this county after the announcement that a site has been identified for a new hospital campus for the Midwest. Kelsa Breeze, it's in Limerick. Yes, Jennifer Carroll McNeil, the health minister, approving the acquisition of a 43-acre site in Raheen. And Donna was making the point that I think lots of people are going to make in this county, that if you're in West Clare or North Clare, that ain't much good to you if you are in need of a hospital. And so lots of you getting in touch on that, including this listener on 086 1800 964, says the decision in relation to the hospital in Raheen being so close to UHL is an absolute disgrace. It's a powerful testimony, says this listener, to the lack of influence of our TDs for the dire needs of the people of Clare at government level. And another one here then on fuel prices from a listener who says, we're constantly told the country's in a great place, yet there are people having to choose whether they heat their homes or if they eat a meal. They only seem to get annoyed when this is pointed out. Keep them coming, folks. 086 1800 964. That text or WhatsApp number is the one you need if you have any questions for Frankie Coo. He'll be with us later for Ask the Dog Warden, and we will also be finding out what you can expect from this year's St. Patrick's Day Parade in Shannon. But we are joined by more guests from the College of FET Ennis campus. I'm joined now by Marie O'Callaghan, the PLC Coordinator and Guidance Counsellor, and also Guidance Counsellor Una Howley. Very good morning to you, ladies.
Good morning, Alan.
In sync, fair play. So no, whether that was rehearsed or not, but it was very, very good. Look, we've had lots of brilliant guests so far this morning here. Marie, can you just maybe give us we didn't really get a chance to have like an overview of the campus here itself. Femi Odubote mentioned earlier on, he's been coming here 10, 11 years, and he kind of hinted at the change I did myself in terms of even where we're located now. He mentioned it was the canteen, so visually it's changed a lot. But in terms of the offering, they never thought I'd be talking about an introduction to Foraging Course, for example.
Well, yeah, the offering is very broad and varied. Yeah, in terms of facilities here at College of FET, Ennis campus, there's investment every year. We're always bringing on new courses, and that requires new facilities. And we have to keep in touch with what's happening in industry and community. We have to have the latest and greatest in technology. For example, we have podcasting equipment, and there's a number of groups training up on that and using it for assessment, and just the learning through listening, learning through speaking, and being able to talk about their topics and subjects. So we're always introducing new technology.
Are you highlighting for them whatever podcast they do not to be broadcasting between the hours of 9 a.m. to midday?
They're going to be competing, I'd say, for jobs in Clear FM at this stage, but yeah, they love it. It's just a different way rather than trying to script everything and write everything. It's a fantastic way to learn. So that's been a great hit. You hear music generation outside the door today, and there's a concert afoot here in Clonroad.
And I tell you what, they're doing the Beatles proud. There were some serious versions of She Loves You when I saw her standing there earlier on. Immaculate harmonies.
It's in association with Music Generation. They have the best of the best. We have international talent on the teaching team there with our music programme, and the learners that are coming through there from across the schools and community are fantastic, and they're going wide and far with rock music and pop music and traditional music as well. So there's a huge offering there. In terms of our campus here, we're focused, and new development is a tertiary offering. We have the tertiary business studies in association with TUS, and we have a tertiary nursing in mental health nursing coming on board in September, and that's where you can start degree programs with us without the points. So we're moving away from a points race for those programs, and there'll be more and more offerings in that. And in the coming year, we hope to have a new suite developed for barbering, and that hopefully will be up and running by January 2027. Again, a new sector. We're we have a lot of offering in beauty and hairdressing and specialities in those areas.
And every student doing that will be making the cut, of course, quite literally.
So if you can get your health care, you can get the haircut, you can get the beauty done, you can have a nice barista coffee here this morning.
I wish this was underway already. I have to wait till 2027 for this. We're definitely coming back, okay? But even all those different courses, whether they're to come or they're already established here, how do you go about deciding what courses to run, and how do you get an inkling? Something I touched on earlier on with guests, how do you get an inkling or an idea that there's going to be a demand for this?
We have with LCETB an employer engagement function, and they're keeping an eye on the markets and employment sectors as to where the gaps are, and Solus as a national body will also be identifying where there are gaps and needs in the market, and we have to try and meet those needs. It is public funding, it's taxpayers' money, and we have to give best value for that and ensure that the courses we're offering are meeting those market needs and creating employment opportunities. At the end of the day, it's people that we're providing service to. We want them to be employed and progressing through education within County Clare and further afield, and that's what we're here to do. So there's something for everybody. The new Solus FET strategy says that FET is for everyone, and our motto based on that is that Ennis campus is for everyone. There is something for everybody here. Just looking and talking to some of the tutors last night, there's a new course in slow stitching. I didn't know what slow stitching was, but it's a new...
I was going to ask it, maybe a potentially silly question.
Yeah.
What's the difference between stitching and slow stitching, other than the speed of it?
I think we're all going to have to go on the course to find out, because I saw some beautiful product from it yesterday evening, and as the teacher was saying, a lot of the students might have been on a course already with us, and they want to develop their skills and develop their crafts, so we have to put on a new offering each year. So slow stitching is the latest and greatest in sewing.
And even just before I bring Una in, I mean, even with courses like that, some people here, maybe the likes of Lexi and Katie, were speaking with earlier on, if you're doing the Youthreach programme, you've your whole life ahead of you looking to get a career and so on. But for others, they may just want, maybe they're at a later stage of life, or maybe not, maybe regardless of age, they want to learn something like that because it might be just handy in their own lives, not to get a job, not to just
exactly,
because they want to know.
Because they want to know, and maybe it's just a new craft or a new skill that they can have. But also a big part of those courses in particular, where it's not about certification, it's about being part of the community of learning. It's about being part of a class group. There's a real social aspect to it, a sense of belonging, a sense of being part of Ennis campus as a college, and a sense of being part of your community and what's going on locally.
Una Howley, you are a guidance counsellor here. I'd imagine are you kept busy?
Yes, very busy. So I'm part of the information recruitment guidance support team. So we have 4 guidance counsellors working across the campus, and we all would take a day in outreach then. So I would do outreach in Shannon every Tuesday, and then I work across the full-time programmes here on the Ennis campus. So the beauty of that is, like Marie mentioned, getting learners in, and it's meeting that learner where they're at. It is so important, and recognising, that there are so many different pathways, and it's really trying to get that message out there that it's not really all about the Leaving Cert exam. There are so many options and progression routes. So we've had huge success here in the last couple of years, especially around our nursing students. We've had a number of nurses go to UL, some of them on the midwifery programme, some on the general learning programme, and many students, we've 3 this year, gone to Derry studying nursing. So it's just making them aware of those pathways that are available to them, and building those links indeed as well with the colleges. So we have great links there now built with the University of Ulster and Derry, with UL, with TUS as well through the tertiary programme. So it's just that they can recognise those options are available to them. And I think he spoke to one of our learners this morning that has been successful in gaining a place in pharmacy in Coleraine. So these are amazing stories for our learners, and incoming learners to see what the possibility is. And that piece of education, just recognising that opens up so much possibility and opportunity in your life. And while school mightn't be that place of education for a lot of learners, this is a gorgeous place to learn. We have that real inclusive piece, that support when they come in. They can meet us, they can meet the team here in the Learner Hub. And it's just that lovely way of learning. In that first year, they're learning about assignment writing, how to reference, and when they go on to college, and we hear this again and again when we go out to college days, that they can all recognise the students that come from College of Fit, because they're just that bit more ready for the learning.
Yeah, and the open day, if we're going by bodies alone, is a roaring success. And touching back on the demographics, Marie, is it predominantly school leavers, or is it people returning to education later in life, or is it just a mixture? There's no predominant cohort?
Yeah, there's no predominant cohort really. It's a real mix. On, for example, the PLC courses, there will be a mix of school leavers and adults, like there would be in any further higher education course. And for example, we had a learner, Gavin last year, who'd done the business studies, was a younger kind of cohort, but he was an adult learner that came back and got his business programme and has gone on to the Gardaí. He's joining the Gardaí this year, and delighted that he got there. So, it's whatever suits the learner, and it's a mix, and it's open to everybody.
Very good. And for many people, Una, particularly those who are coming back to education, they might be nervous about that.
Yes.
Maybe it didn't go the way they thought initially, and it's kind of an itch that they've wanted to scratch for a long time, but it's been such a long gap that they might be nervous about returning to education. What advice would you give to someone who's thinking about taking that next step? That maybe they've been mulling over coming to the College of Vet, but they're just worried maybe 10, 20 years has passed since they've last been in education.
Yeah, and it is very daunting taking that step. I took that step myself as a mature learner, going back in my 40s.
Okay, no better person to be speaking to about this. So,
I think the most important thing is to come through the door. And when you come through the door here, the welcome is there, the support is here, and we talk them through what is, what's the programme involves. But recently, even since I've joined this campus here, we've had huge success with mature learners. In the last 2 years, we had a woman who was working as a care assistant, had raised her family and came back here to do the nursing programme, and is now in her second year of that programme in UL. So she was just so appreciative of the support she got here, because like that, when you haven't written an assignment in 20 years, it is quite daunting.
But she had that life experience of raising a family.
And that adds to it as well. You have that piece of wisdom as well. But it is a very nerve-wracking thing when you come back into the classroom, and especially if we're with a younger cohort of people. But the mix there is lovely as well, because there is that peer learning between the groups as well. You see them here at the tables working on assignments, so that really helps them. But it is that piece really around the support here, and touching in with guidance to see where those places are available for them and what might be a better fit for them in terms of their learning styles and what programme will suit them.
Marie, anytime we talk about Leaving Cert or any aspect of it, the other options always comes into it. PLC courses are featuring more and more as people realise third level isn't the be all and end all going to university, and it just doesn't suit some people. And PLC courses often seen as a great stepping stone. So what kind of opportunities can they open up for students after they finish their studies?
So yeah, I mean, every school in the country will tell you that, you know, the students in front of them the profile has changed and the needs have changed. And one time, I suppose, PLC was considered maybe the second option, but more and more it's the first option, because students are unsure. Very often they need to take a year out, maybe a gap year, and you know, if they're unsure about a career choice, they can take the year here. There are no fees. They can do their course, like the healthcare or the science or the music, do their course and try it out and make their decision before they invest in a degree program, which is going to cost money, and they've to set up housing. So it's very much a gap year choice now as well for school leavers, and just try before you buy and invest, I suppose, in a bigger piece.
But also, you're a year older if you do decide to go into college. I think a lot of people, I know myself, was going to college at 17 still. Yeah. You know, it's you don't know what you want to do.
You don't know what you want to do, yeah. And it's you know, it's easy reverse and change direction in you know, after a PLC course. And a PLC course in its own right, you might do a PLC course in business, but you can access any other course virtually with that. You know, so your options are still open, or you can try another course and make other choices. So that's there. It just gives other avenues to people, and it's, you know, at that stage, Leaving Cert is very intense, or LCA. You have a lot of that end of year finish, and a lot of pressures finishing school and transitioning, and this is a good choice then to take some time out. You know, driving is important. Young people want to get set up in their driving, etc. As I said, their accommodation. That doesn't happen overnight, and doesn't happen easy in September over a 2-week period. So a lot of people defer their college places and come here for the year, maybe try other options. So it just buys them that extra year, and there's nothing lost. You know, it just opens up their eyes. And a great piece on all our courses is the work experience, where they go out to the workplace and they get hands-on learning and practical skills, and that's really where they decide, yeah, this is the piece for me, this is the career for me, or actually this doesn't suit me, I'm going to try something else. And they'll have that option then. And again, as I say, you know, they haven't that big investment yet then in college until they've their final decision made. So, you know, we've had students who've had their points for medicine, and just like that didn't have the setup maybe and wanted to take the year out. They're a bit young, maybe at 17, and need that extra year, so they can take their time and maybe do a science course or a nursing course here in the meantime and get things lined up for the following September. So that's part of it. But as I say, our FET is for everybody. We have adult learners in that who aren't coming from school. They're mature learners, maybe coming from the workplace, changing career. And then, as I said, we've lots of uncertified courses. I was just looking at another one, Cuddle and Read. I mean,
that's a course.
Who wouldn't want to do a course called Cuddle and Read? So
depends who you're being cuddled by, I suppose.
There's lots of options there for parents, and to how to parent and parenting techniques and dealing with difficult behaviour. There's lots of different pieces. We said the crafts, the foraging, the history, woodcraft, etc. And it's okay for young people to take a year out and try those pieces as well.
Yeah.
You know, it could be the barista, where they make a nice coffee and understand the importance of coffee in all our lives, and there's loads of job opportunities local for it, and they're set up then to study and earn a little bit at the weekends or the evenings, etc. So, you know, people do courses with us for lots of different reasons, so there's a real variety here, and everybody's welcome in our door.
Well, if you ever thought we were exaggerating about the variety, you haven't listened to today's Morning Focus, hearing about the introduction to Foraging Course and Cuddle and Read. We ain't lying, folks. Una, you were talking about all the different people earlier on who you give guidance to, and giving examples of someone that end up, you know, studying in Derry or elsewhere. I would imagine there's a lot of satisfaction with your job if you've helped guide somebody down a particular path and they end up, you know, doing a job they wanted to do or becoming a success. And a lot of personal satisfaction in helping to shape someone's future or help guide them in the a road that maybe they didn't realise they wanted to go down, or maybe they did, but they just were unsure about taking that next step?
Yeah, there certainly is. And we have had, and when we have those success stories, and, one particular learner that comes to mind, very reticent and had maybe a good school experience, came here for the year, and we helped him with his funding, got a 1916 scholarship, and now is nearly finishing that degree programme in ATU. So when you see how they can grow and come out of themselves, and it's like Marie said, it's just that year to build that self-awareness. So what do I like? And some of them might decide, I'm not going on to higher education, and it's like Marie said, and we bring them to industry then. So we've had learners go to Sky Ireland, we've had them to see AXA in Dublin, and when they go and see these companies and see what is the possibility, even with a level 5 programme here, and what my work can get me, and if I have a good work ethic, how I can progress maybe in this industry and maybe come back to learning again when I have that bit of life experience, or when I tease out what it is exactly that I do like, from a level 5 programme. And as Marie said, not maybe ready to commit to a full-time higher education programme yet, but it is certainly satisfying when you see that they do come back later, or they come back after a school experience that didn't suit, and they find their place here and then go on to have that career that they did not maybe realise at the time they were looking for.
Just to finish then, Marie, a final chance to speak to the people out there who've maybe been thinking about PLC courses, Youthreach programs, whatever it might be, but hasn't quite made that next step. Why should they come here?
And just come in out of curiosity alone, that's okay. Come in and see what we have and decide if it's for you. We've lots of people here this afternoon from 6 to 8. Come and talk to us and have a look around, and we'll have another information day in May, and we'll be advertising that. Come and talk to us, get your foot in the door, and that's when you'll really decide. You'll get a feel for what we're about, and the welcome is always on the mat at the door, so everybody's welcome. FET is for everyone.
And the coffee's nice as well, I can testify to that. Marie O'Callaghan, PLC Coordinator and Guidance, thank you. And Guidance Counsellor Una Howley. Ladies, thank you very much for being with us on Morning Focus, live from the College of FET campus here in Ennis. More to come on the show, and we're going to be finding out all about what you can expect from the St. Patrick's Day Parade in Shannon after this short break.
In-depth coverage of what's happening in Clare today.
Clare FM's Morning Focus.
Real stories
that matter to you.
You are listening to Morning Focus with Alan Morrissey, live from the College of FET Ennis campus. 0818 400 964. Give us a call if there's anything you would like to talk about. Certainly a lot of people having their say on the hospital situation, and the announcement that a site has been identified for a new hospital campus for the Midwest, and unfortunately for us here in Clare, it is in Limerick. So if you want to have your say on that, that is the number to call. You can text or WhatsApp us on that, or anything else at all. It's 086 1800 964. Now, Shannon Community Partnership has announced the Grand Marshal for this year's St. Patrick's Day Parade in Shannon, and it is someone who's played a huge role in the town for decades. Jerry Murphy, who's been with EI Electronics since 1972, has been named Grand Marshal for the parade. And to tell us more about the announcement and what we can expect, I'm joined on the line by Jerry, who's a purchasing manager at EI and the Vice Chair of Shannon Community Partnership, Don O'Sullivan. Jen, say you're very welcome to Morning Focus.
Good morning.
Good morning, Alan.
Good morning, Don.
And thanks to the two of you for being with us. Don, I'll start with yourself. Can you tell us about the decision to name Jerry as Grand Marshal for this year's parade? Why was he such a fitting choice?
Yeah, I suppose, Jerry has been a key part of a lot of really positive contribution to Shannon over the years. I mean, EI as a company, as we all know, not just as an employer, but also as a company that has really got behind everything that we do here in the town. Jerry was an obvious choice. Jerry, I know Jerry personally, even for some stuff that he's worked with me on, and he was an obvious choice. In the year, a very obviously auspicious year for him, with him retiring. It's an ideal time for him, I think, to lead it out, and for EI to be seen as the major contributor that they are to the town of Shannon.
Yeah, and how important is it for the parade to recognise people who have made a big contribution to the community?
Yeah, I mean, this is our chance, I suppose, to showcase the people who make such a difference. It's like most towns, you don't get a chance to bring the town together that often. You don't get that kind of showcase event So it is really important that when we do this, that we, pick somebody that I think the people in the town will know Jerry. He's known all over the town. And as I say, and his connection with EI most especially. So I think, this is the opportunity, a one-off event. Let's mark the occasion in a big way with Jerry at the helm.
Yeah, and Jerry, congratulations on being named Grand Marshal. I don't know how much of an inkling beforehand you had, but what was your reaction when you heard the news or when you were asked?
Well, when I was asked first, Alan, I said no, because I what did I do to deserve this, and there's no need for this. And then the secretary, Joanne Begley, said, listen, we want to thank you personally, and we think you deserve this, but we want to thank you and EI. They're thanking EI as well through myself. So I thought about it over a few days, and I actually felt a bit emotional about it, and listen to Dan there now and saying, gee, who are they talking about, But anyway, I said that, do you know what? I've been with EI over 53 years. I'm living in the community here 48 years. I absolutely love Shannon. My wife, a Clare woman, my children work and live here, my grandchildren grown up here in Shannon. And I was chuffed, and I said, do you know what? I'll do it. Embarrassed, but I'll do it, So I believe there's a lot of hecklers and people storing up things to shout at me on the way. Positive, I hope. But it's great. No, it's actually great. Over the past few years, EI have been extremely generous to the wider Clare community now, not just Shannon. The reach has gone up to South Galway and down to Tipperary and far afield. But that was only possible through the generosity of our founder and CEO, Mike Guinea, who I think that all the county knows him pretty well. But over the past few years, when I went into a kind of retirement mode, he asked me to be the kind of ambassador for EI. And he wants to give back to the community where we got our workforce, and that be it sporting, community, schools, educational, of course, health, general recreation, and business and scholarships. It's really Mike Guinea. I'm very popular spending his money, I can tell you, So,
well, I'm sure it sounds like you've spent it well over the years. And it's funny, the kind of, the back and forth link between the business and the people who work there. I'm sure you're not the only one, Jerry, who spent a long time with EI and perhaps has even made Shannon their home as a consequence of working there. It's clearly had a huge impact on your life. But you've, no doubt, 53 years with EI, you've seen Shannon grow and change a lot over the decades as well, since the early 70s.
Yes, yeah. It has changed significantly, even in our own company, EI, from 72 when I was there to 88. We were American owned. But when Mike Guinea Jim died and then Mike Byrne took it over, MBO, in 1988, the company has just gone from strength to strength with nearly 1,100 people here now in Shannon. And they're long-term sustainable jobs. So, and they're a big economic factor in the area, both from a purchasing and the wages that come out of EI every Friday morning. And in that, Mike Guinea says, we need to apportion so much of our revenue back to the community. So, number one, that's what I had been doing, but I'm moving back a little bit from that. And the McKinney Foundation now is starting to support major projects in this area and around Ireland and abroad as well, I have to say. It's not exclusively Shannon, but Shannon is synonymous, EI is synonymous with Shannon, So, and I was chuffed to get as I said no, but I'm excited about it now, to be honest with you.
Well, it's good you relented in the end, and I'm sure Don and the rest of the SCP were relieved at that. And I guess a fitting choice, Don, as Grand Marshal, given, not just Jerry's work, obviously, but obviously EI's entire, huge contribution to the local community there. And the parade, Don, has always been a big occasion locally in Shannon. So what else, aside from Jerry as Grand Marshal, can people expect from this year's parade?
Yeah, so at this stage, we've confirmed up to 30 different community groups and growing, I might say, because, the invitation is still open to anybody who thinks that, they would be able to parade on the day. And we're starting at 2:30 in a place known as the Wetlands. I think for people who know Shannon or people from Shannon, there's very few street names that are well known in the town. So we tend to go by markers, places that, so the Wetlands in Shannon, 2:30. Next Tuesday, only a week. So we'll be going from there with, as I say, 30 plus groups. There'll be music, there'll be sporting groups. There's literally, every group. We've invited so many teams and groups to get involved. So they'll be marching and parading through the town from the Wetlands, going by the comprehensive school and down to the town centre, where at the town centre there's then a stage where there'll be music and there'll be a bit of fun and games to be had after the parade is even over. So it's a full day out. It's a great day out. And I say, delighted to be part of it this year.
For schools, any schools, clubs, businesses, community groups listening this morning, Don, still an opportunity to get involved and register a floater entry?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the more the merrier. I mean, if they contact anybody in Shannon Community Partnership and they just let us know, we'll arrange. So we're trying to arrange at the moment. Obviously, it's the queuing system is the wonderful part of the start of the St. Patrick's Day parade, so we need a good long road. But if they get in contact with us, we'll give them a slot and we'll make sure that they're included in the parade and open to everybody.
Okay, and there's going to be a festival atmosphere afterwards. What's planned once the parade actually finishes?
Yeah, so the parade finishes at Shannon Town Centre in what will be known as the Knights Car Park. People will know it, so we're clearing in the area the Knights Car Park. There's actually some music will be on the stage before the parade and during as the parade winds through the town. But then there's some live music afterwards. We've got face painters and there's balloon art and there's lots of, as I say, activity out in that area during the parade and after the parade for several hours. So as I say, a real festival atmosphere for probably 4 or 5 hours in the day there.
Jerry, it sounds like you're going to have quite the audience for you and everyone else in the parade, but are you ready to greet the large crowds?
I am actually, and I'm looking forward to it, because if I could put a shout out to Shannon Community Partnership, they're fairly new, only a few short years, but what they've done in the past few years is just phenomenal. They've been the conduit now for a lot of groups, social, sport and cultural, to try and come together, because a lot of people don't know, how do we get this grant, how do we get this support, how do we get this media. And I've found that the Shannon Community Partnership now are really establishing themselves as a core group in Shannon, that if you have a grouping, whether you're a 10 people voluntary outlet, liaise with the Shannon Community Partnership. They've some very professional people who will help them out and obviously improve their focus and what they're doing, So I'm looking forward to it. I think this will be the biggest parade ever in Shannon, and I'm looking forward to fine weather. That's the main thing,
I did ask McD, the Grand Marshal for the Ennis Parade, what he'd be wearing. He's going with Donegal tweed. I wonder, have you thought about your attire? Make sure it's predominantly green anyway, whatever you're wearing.
I am a Limerick man, so I'll get away with the green jersey,
Just don't wear any white with it.
No, but you know what? I'm a Limerick man, but very proud to be living in Clare. I love Shannon. Absolutely love it,
Don, has he disqualified himself for that revelation? I'm sure it's not a revelation, but too late to look for an alternative.
One of the things with Shannon, as many people will know, is there so many people have come to Shannon over the last. It's quite a new town, a very new town, in fact.
Yes,
so most people tend to associate themselves with someplace else. It's only now that we're starting to see the first real generation of Shannon people. But I'm no different than Jerry, Limerick-ish, but a proud Shannon and Clare man now.
That's right.
Very good and very diplomatic as well, and it's good to end on a diplomatic note. My thanks there to Don O'Sullivan, Vice Chair of Shannon Community Partnership,
thanks, Alan.
and
good
Jerry Murphy. Lads, thanks very much to both of you. That's the Shannon St. Patrick's Day Parade happening on the day itself. We will bring you more from the Clutton Road Business Park after this break.
Clare FM's Morning Focus, delivering the latest news and stories for Clare with Alan Morrissey.
As you've been hearing in our news bulletins, Clare County Council has confirmed the long-awaited Ennis Inner Relief Road will be delivered in the coming years. The route would connect the Gort Road and Tulla Road, thus alleviating traffic congestion seen on the two arteries in and out of the county town, while it would also make lands available for new housing. So following a motion from councillors Claire Collar and Malloy, Tom O'Callaghan and Antoinette Baker-Bashua at this week's meeting of the county's local elected representatives, Clare County Council has reiterated that the road is included in the local transport plan, while it's also in the upcoming proposed variation of the county development plan. The project is expected to cost between 10 and 15 million euro. Clare FM's Sean Lyons was at this week's council meeting where he spoke to Councillor O'Callaghan about the update.
There have been developers that have come on, because we all know that there is a shortage of homes, and we're trying to open up land where possible. And you're talking about 7.5 hectares of land that just can't be accessed. And it was kind of brought to my attention. Now, I never realised about this road until the road to nowhere, and that's what the stigma is attached to it. And it's hard to believe that it actually was complete 2018 and effectively stopped. So now the request has been coming in to say, can we effectively finish that road? And the answers coming back is they're now going to constructively look at that. It's now part of the Ennis Town Transport Plan, and really what that does is it opens up for the funding that is required. And that is the key here, because we're looking at between 10 to 15 million to finish this project. But welcome reply, and now I think we're in a real opportunity to open up access to build potentially 260 brand new homes for our town. That's a good day.
I was on the Tulla Road this morning, and this proposed road came into my head because of the congestion out there at the moment with the works that are taking place. How crucial is it for people that are travelling to and from work, to and from school?
Oh, sure, it's huge, and especially you want to keep people away from the centre of our town. So if you can have the outskirts where people can avoid, that's going to be a big, big benefit. It was actually Councillor Daly that said that you should be there from 4 o'clock to I think it was 4:30 or 5. People coming out from work, it's just an awful trap. But this is definitely going to relieve that. The positive news is it's in the plan. The positive news now is that effectively we're going to get that funding, and that's what this is all about, and we'll finish that project.
Does its inclusion in the local transport plan guarantee funding?
Yes. In other words, now it's a critical part because it's going to become part of the transport infrastructure. So unless it's in that document, it's not classed a necessity. Being a necessity, that's where you can then apply for the funding, and in this case you're looking at potential 15 million. So that's a positive result today.
And in terms of timeline, do we have any details so far? You mentioned that there's a feasibility study. How soon could we see progress?
Well, that's the difficulty, because you look at probably between 5 to 8 years, and that's the only, I suppose, stigma to the tail. But it's a starting point, and it's one that is definitely worthy of progressing.
Councillor Antoinette Baker-Bashua, thank you very much for speaking with me. At today's meeting of Clare County Council, the March meeting, you were involved with a motion concerning the proposed relief road that would connect the Gort Road and the Tulla Road. It's something that people have looked for quite a long time, has been on the agenda consistently over the years. We haven't seen a lot of progress. It seems like a stagnant project at the moment. So in that context, why did you bring it forward?
Well, we brought it as a joint motion for the simple reason that as everyone who travels around Ennis, you can see trying to get from the Tulla Road over to the Gort Road, it's just congestion after congestion. Not only that, but when you have a bank of land that can be opened and you have developers ready to go on it, and the only stumbling block is that this road that was half developed stops nowhere. If it was developed fully, not only would it alleviate congestion in the town, but it would also open for much needed housing. And if we're in the situation where we want Ennis to thrive, we have to open roads like this, not only for congestion, for developers to develop much needed housing in the area.
Mm-hmm. And that housing question, obviously so crucial to boost supply.Roughly how many units could we see if and when this is activated?
Oh, well, you've massive banks of land there, so you would be looking at a developer that could develop hundreds of properties, much needed, not just social, but you're talking about affordable and much needed housing for everybody. It's all there, it's all ready to go. And if you have a developer that already says, yes, I am ready to go, but this road is the only obstacle, and then you've got someone saying, well, it's going to cost so much money and it's going to take 5 to 8. This is essential for right now, because in 5 or 8 years' time, we're going to need more housing again. We're going to have to be looking. But if this is ready to go, half the road is done. You just need the rest of it to be finished. you're looking at a no-win situation. You're alleviating traffic in bottleneck areas, and equally you're opening banks of land to be developed on right now.
Does the response you got from the council today give cause for hope?
Look, it's in a plan. This is great. At least it's made the plan. And if you say, well, if it's not made the plan, there is no way it's going to be developed. Now we need pressure on our executives. We need to pressure the council and the government for this funding, because equally it comes from Dublin. The funding comes from Dublin, and we can put as many reports in as we want. If we don't have that wording right, and if Dublin says no, we're back to fighting for it again. Look, it is positive. It's on the local development plan now, and it's up to us as a council, 28 councillors, the whole of the council, to fight for this. Although it is in Ennis, it helps the whole of the county if this is done in the county town.
And thanks to Sean Lyons for bringing us that report. And I'm joined now to finish out the show as at 10 to on Tuesdays, and he's joining us live as ever is the County Dog Warden Frankie Coote. Frankie, how are you?
Good, rock band behind me there.
You were thinking of joining in on tambourine, were you?
Yes, I'll sing a song going out for him.
Oh God, whether they want it or not. Right, moving swiftly on, lots to tell us about. Tell us about what's happening in North Clare. Guardian Wildlife Rangers patrolling there, but why?
Yeah, that's been going on now for, I suppose, about a year and a half. And they're patrolling the roads, the Gardaí, the Wildlife Rangers, and it's to stop illegal hare coursing. Now, people are going onto lands without permission. They're hunting. It's illegal to course hares with lutchers, greyhounds and whatever.
Yeah.
But more so now as well in the fact that they're breeding. You know, the animals, the hares are breeding. They're having young ones and they have young ones. So they've gone very strict on it now. And the advice I would give to people, obviously, number one, is stop. Because especially North Clare now, most of the farmers up there are all involved they have a WhatsApp group. And even if I pulled up there now in my van, you know, doing my work,
they'd alert the rest of them.
Someone will be down, or a guard will be notified. Obviously, they'll know my van, I'll speak to them. But cars, vans, whatever you come in. Unusual thing in it now under the legislation, I wouldn't be that up in it, but the guards have the right to actually seize whatever vehicle you arrive in. They can seize your dogs, and obviously you can end up in court. So I would be advising people, like the farmers there now, they don't want people coming onto their land illegally, and the coursing club don't want people killing the hares. Nobody does really. And then there's a lot of issues with livestock. So I'm advising people now all over Clare, because there was a car seized lately there down in Clarecastle, just outside Clarecastle, for that. And there was a car vandalised down there as well with people that were hunting. So just advise people, be prepared to lose your vehicle and your dogs if you're caught.
Okay, be careful there. There's bylaws at Lees Road, but you know the old saying, rules are made to be broken.
Yeah.
Some people taking that literally because they're not obeying those bylaws.
Yeah, a lot of people are now. And what happens is, like I was up there the last couple of weeks now, I've been up there a couple of days, and you're walking and you meet people and you say, oh, by the way, your dog is supposed to be on a lead, and they actually say, no, they aren't. I said, well, I'm the dog warden, I'm explaining it to you.
Yeah, you think you know.
Yeah. But, you know, they actually say to you that they quote the Control of Dogs Act, which states your dog doesn't have to be on a lead, it has to be under control, and that you can call it back. That's true, but not Lees Road. Lees Road, the Fair Green, a few places like, they have what's called bylaws. So the bylaw states your dog must be on a lead at all times once he enters there. So I'm saying to people now, I've had 2 incidents in the last 2 weeks where I could have called the guards and I could have issued fines, but I gave advice. But those same 2 people, if I meet them again, the advice is finished. And I mean, I understand what they're saying to me then when they say, well, what about that person over there? You go to everyone, you know, you're dealing with them now, and when you go there, and I don't go up and be hard on people, but if you have a big dog and a large dog and he's approaching other people, that's not on. No. But it's no good you shouting across saying, oh, he's a lovely dog, oh, your child is okay, your child is okay. Like I have 2 little grandchildren there now, 2 little boys, 3 and 4. I bring them up, they love dogs, so they will go to the dog, but I don't allow them. You know, and then I'd ask the people, dog all right, and so on and so on. But you don't let them near large dogs that you don't know.
You just never know.
So you shouldn't let your dog near children or cause stress for anyone else that's walking their dogs.
Okay, 15 dogs a month being abandoned by their owners on Clare roads.
Yeah.
Very sad.
Yeah, and okay, it's gone down. It just be more, but it's still too many. And we're getting them, when I say abandoned, and these are dogs now that we get a call they've come into someone else's house. But the owners, we're putting them up on Facebook. We're vaccinating them. We're microchipping them. We're trying to find their owners, and the owners don't come forward. You get a very odd occasion then where it becomes stressful for myself and the girls. I keep going on about being stressful, but just like we say, it's your dog. And you come then 8 days later looking for your dog back, and you have your photographs, and you have your licence, and you haven't microchipped, obviously. Well, you're not entitled to that dog. That dog, after 5 days, becomes property of Clare County Council.
5 days.
5 days, 5 working days, and you must report your dog. Once we have it for 5 days, we do put it up on Facebook. We don't have to, but it says the law says we must make every attempt to find the owner.
Okay.
But we have people coming back to them. While I was on holidays, my neighbour was looking after. They didn't know I want my dog back. They can go where they like. They can do what they like. We can't go to the rescue, and we can't take him back. We can't take him back if he was a dangerous dog and he was put down, obviously, So just saying to people, report your dog if he's missing.
Okay.
And have him microchipped, because, I got a dog yesterday. Within 10 minutes, the owner was up in that lawn, didn't even know the dog was out. But I was able to, I said, look, I'll mind the dogs, you come back Thursday, because whoever's minding a few isn't doing a good job.
Yeah, you can make that instant connection.
Yeah.
Okay.
The chip is very important.
We are almost out of time, but you want to mention someone who has sadly passed from Kilmehel. Tell us about Paddy Considine.
Paddy Considine was out in Knockalock in Kilmehel. Paddy worked for Whelan's Quarry there for years. A lot of people would know Paddy. But Paddy was also a famous cross-country runner, and he was married to my aunt, Patsy Coate. And all I could say about Paddy, it must be almost 55 years ago. I worked, I was only young, that 15 or 16. I worked in London on the buildings. My father, Paddy, drove a truck, and his brother Jimmy. But Paddy was the quietest, nicest man you ever met. Nicest, quietest man you ever met. Bothered no one. And I just want to sympathise with the family, all my relatives, and everyone in Kilmehel, Patsy, all the children, boys and girls, and just say the legacy he left was that he was honest, quiet and reliable man. He'd help any neighbour. He was a lovely man. But my mother used to tell me when he was courting my father's sister that he was a cross-country runner, so he used to actually run in from Kilmehel to court her. And as my mother used to say, he probably walked home, but he used to run in to meet her anyway. But he did, yeah. He used to. Everyone talked about that at the time, Paddy.
His wooing abilities are fantastic. If running and all sweaty, he was still able to win her over.
Yeah,
anyway,
go in and they go to Paddy Cons, and the lovely man, lovely man. Really lovely man.
Well, our condolences to all his friends and family and yourself, Frankie. Thank you. As ever, and thanks for joining us here at the College of FET campus, Ennis campus, and then thanks to everyone else here for facilitating us for today's morning focus, and thanks for all the hospitality and the coffee and scones. I'll have to bring a few scones back for Colin McGrath, or else it'll be very sad. Thank you for listening as well today and getting in touch with your comments, thoughts, views and opinions. Big thanks to producer Evelyn Jabinska and Caitlin Griffin here with us, and Mark Lavin on sound as well, and everyone back at base who made things run smoothly. We'll be back at you tomorrow morning from the studio from 9. We'll have this week's In Profile conversation and lots more besides. We'll see you tomorrow morning from 9. The time tunnel report clarity is coming up next, so enjoy that and see you on Wednesday from 9.